The Australian team lined up now, and they're being introduced to the dignitaries, Mr. Ken Arthurson, the President of the Australian Rugby League. A big moment for quite a number of the Australians here this afternoon. The atmosphere, well, it's a test match, and the atmosphere is just reeking around this beautiful new stadium. As you can see, plenty of England support here, Great Britain support, the Union Jack flying. The Great Britain side now lined up. Beardmore the hooker, Lachlan the fullback, enormous fellow. Geez, big fullback. And plenty of faces there we've seen before, and some that we haven't seen. Australian team now, Wally Lewis the captain, getting set here for the national anthems to be played. For Australia, Gary Jack is at fullback. On the wing, Andrew Eddinghausen and Tony Curry. The centres are Michael O'Connor and Peter Jackson. Wally Lewis is at 5'8". Peter Sterling is the halfback. Lewis, of course, the captain of the side. Bob Lindner is in 13. We remind you this is the international numbering system. Paul Vaughton is in 12. Wally Fullerton-Smith in 11. Sam Bacco, Greg Conescu and Phil Daly make up the Australian pack. The coach, Don Ferner. The Great Britain side now, Phil Lachlan is at fullback. Phil Ford is on one wing. Martin Offia, very exciting player on the other. In the centres, Gary Schofield and David Stevenson. At 5'8" is David Hume. Andy Gregory is at halfback. Ellery Hanley in jumper 13, and Locke is the captain of the side. Then we have the second rowers, Andy Platt, Mike Gregory, and the front row, Paul Dixon, Kevin Beardmore and Kevin Ward. The coach, Malcolm Riley. Big Sam Bacco making his first appearance for Australia here this afternoon. Been a star of the State of Origin series and forced himself into the Australian side. Wally Fullerton-Smith, another of the Queensland players, forcing his way back. Lachlan, the Great Britain fullback, sprinting back to position now. Paul Vaughton, a man who has been so proud to wear Queensland's jumper, back in the Australian green and gold this afternoon. And they don't come much tougher than Vaughton. Now let's have a look at the head-to-head situation. Overall, Australia, Test played 99. Australia have won 46, lost 49, drawn 4. In Sydney, 34. Overall, 15 and 18. So a pretty tight series when you think this is the 100th Test. 46-49, the breakdown. The referee for this international fixture, Francis Depart from Toulouse in France. Australia kicking now, and plenty of defence running across. Well, Jack Gibson, this side from Great Britain has been written off, but a lot of people are saying they can come back today.
Well, they're a new team, and it's a new game. The thing I think about, we certainly don't want the referee, whether he's got the expertise to handle this game or not, because we're going to find that out pretty quick.
As Lachlan clears for Great Britain, Mick Cronin, you've been in this situation. Australia does have a lot of new faces.
They've got a lot of new faces, but I noticed, Matt, they all seem very keyed up. I noticed Peter Jackson looked like a big man for him. I don't think that'll be their trouble. I think they'll be able to overcome that.
Well, the first penalty has gone to Australia here at the Sydney Stadium this afternoon. That brings a roar from the crowd. Ellery Hanley coming back on side. Now, Australia have 5 players in their starting lineup. Eddinghausen, Curry, Jackson, Bacco, Daly making their Test debut. We'd like to welcome Great Britain, your viewers, as you take this match live. Alex Murphy from the BBC studios in London, the former Great Britain halfback. We know that you'd like to be here this afternoon, but it's nice to have you with us. Okay, let's come back to the game now as Daly takes it up for Australia. A bustling run too, but scrappy possession, and Great Britain jostling with Peter Sterling now, but Great Britain have the ball as Referee pulls up play again. Well, Jack, you tipped that he's going to blow the whistle a bit, and it's already on.
Well, we had one player inside the 5 as a fair penalty.
Here's a replay of that situation, and you can see there that both sides line up. Well, they're pretty deep.
Well, looked all right from that angle.
Sure did.
Certainly did.
Lachlan taking the kick for goal. Now it's right in front. It's been a very blustery day here in Sydney, but inside this magnificent stadium there's not too much wind to speak of. He's dead set in front and around 46 metres out. Big strong lad, this fellow. From the St Helens Club, Paul Lachlan. Round the corner style we've come to know so much of from the Great Britain kickers. Here it goes. Ball in the air. He certainly got the height, got some distance, but waved away. So the scores remain Australia and Great Britain 0-all.
Who can you bank on when you want something new? Is it only a dream or will it come true? Who can you bank on when you have to be strong? Who'll make it right if you get it wrong? Who can you bank on who'll help you to sleep?
'Cause you know they won't let you get in too deep.
Who can you bank on for things that aren't planned?
Will they give you room when you need to expand?
Who can you bank on? Who can you trust? You can bank on Westpac. You can bank on us. You can bank on us.
We know a great place to go. Come on, let's go now. Come on, let's go now to Australia's greatest leisure show.
Come on, let's go to the Sunday Telegraph Caravan Camping and Leisure Show 88, Eunora Wool Centre, June 11 to 19. See the fifth wheeler from America, next season's caravans, exciting new tents, camper vans and camper trailers, four-wheel drives, and win a caravan, mini bike or family holiday just for going.
Come on, let's go now to the Caravan Camping and Leisure Show.
This is what's left of Dunnottar Castle. There's a local legend that it's haunted by a horrible headless ghost. They say he'll appear from a glass of Bell's Scotch. He can't resist Bell's. It's been blended with their finest single malt whiskies for 150 years. Come to think of it, he's no got a head for drink.
Fujitsu printers from Imagineering. A work of art in themselves.
When everyone's going out to dinner, I bring my iron to Grant's place.
Heinz would never add salt or preservatives or anything artificial to your baby's diet. In every baby's busy life, Heinz helps.
He was a killer in the eyes of the law, a lover in the eyes of a woman. Mel Gibson and Diane Keaton in the powerful true story of Mrs. Sophie, premieres Sunday 8:30 on 9.
Paul Vorton just flicking the ball over for Wally Lewis. Driven down hard. Gregory mishandles, and that's a bad mistake. Boy, gee, that's a bad mistake. This scrum now will pack midway between the half and the 22, Great Britain's end of the ground. Pack weights coming up, Australia 566 kilograms, an average of 94.3, Great Britain 550. Not much in it. Penalty going to Great Britain. Feet across. The decision by referee Duplat from Toulouse in France. Well, Mick, already Great Britain having a fair share of possession.
Having a fair share of possession, but it's been a bit disjointed at the moment.
The last time these two teams met, November 22nd, 1986 at Wigan, Australia won 24-15 in a game they thought Great Britain were unlucky to lose. Okay, Great Britain now in possession as Gregory is that takes the cutout, but it's Ward that takes it up with a bustling run. Ward in the defence coming in too. Tackle right on the 22, plays it forward, no one back. He goes another 4 or 5. Slips a good ball out too. Is that Beardmore? Beardmore plays it back to Ward. Out it comes for Gregory. He's looking for runners, showing the ball. Up comes Lachlan into the back line. Here's Ford now. Ford with a bustling run, and they've taken play about 7 metres out, Great Britain. Back for Stevenson. On to Gregory. Comes out to Hume. Hume dancing around, looking for someone to link up with. He gets Stevenson. A long floating pass out now for Gregory. They link up with Offia. Offia with a bit of pace and room to move, but bundled into touch. Well, that's not good play. And I know this fellow hasn't had a lot of experience after switching from rugby union, Jack, but that's wasting possession.
We certainly got to stay away from that sideline. They had a 6 tackle count, and they cut it down to 4. They must stay in play to give them the last 2 plays.
We scrum the pack on the 22, Australia's end of the ground. Referee blowing the whistle again. The scrum moving off the mark. He wants it set there. Well, Mick, this fellow's got some pace, but we know that he hasn't had a lot of experience, and he showed it twice now against Manly the other night and again here today.
Well, it is showing. In this class of football, you can't afford to run out of the sideline. You've got to play 8 to 6 tackles, and he must learn that to be of value to his side.
Gregory out to Gregory. Comes back to Hume, but some big hits there with the Australians. Look at Bacco standing up and wrestling Hume down. Plenty of support from Canescu. Beardmore now fires it out for Gregory. He gets it on to Gregory. 2 Gregorys here today. Andy Gregory wearing number 7. And Mike Gregory in jumper number 11. This is, some bad play there. He just straight in and bounced off the Australian players. Andy Gregory rolling around with Wally Lewis. Lewis will have a smile about that. A bit of feeling from Ford. And the tension starting to mount, and the pressure valve easing off a little here as the nerves settle down. We'll play football in a minute. Beautiful day here in Sydney. As I said, a blustery wind outside this stadium, but the high stand walls and the half roof, very little wind to speak of inside the ground. Historic game, 100th test match played between the 2 countries. Great Britain with 49 wins, Australia 46 wins. Australia won the last 13 tests. For Great Britain, their most recent win in Sydney was July 6, 1974. They won that one 16-11. Wally Lewis will get up and play the ball for Australia, back to Bobby Lindner. Out it comes to Fullerton Smith. He's bustled down though. Good defence from Hume. This is Bacco. Bacco through 1-2, but almost an intercept. Held the ball back, Bacco. He could see what was coming. Mike Gregory, the tackler. And again, we'll have another scrum. So this game not having much time to settle down, Jack.
Well, this is the 4th scrum in a few minutes. There's been 3 penalties, so we're going on with rule breaches at the moment.
Ray French down on the sidelines, the BBC senior commentator. How do you see it so far?
I see it going very well for Great Britain. We're camping out in the Australians' half. It's going to Marguli's plan. His argument was to kick the ball down there and get these first 10 minutes over, Darryl.
Your thoughts on this stadium, Ray? It's something very different for rugby league.
Well, it's very different to sitting out at Headingley or Wigan. It's much more pleasant, the sun beating down. It's a magnificent stadium, there's no doubt about it. But I wouldn't like to be up there so high in the commentary box where you are.
Almost a nosebleed job just getting up here. Ray will be talking to you throughout the match. Great to have Ray French in Australia, the senior commentator for the BBC, and he'll be adding his colourful comments as Daly takes it up for Australia now, just into Great Britain's territory. He'll play it back to Canescu. Little bustling run, 3 or 4 metres. Out for Sterling. Sterling on to Vorton. Vorton goes hard and straight. Oh, and some big defence from Great Britain, and this is the stuff that the Bulldogs are made of. I think we've got a test match on our hands here as Lewis kicks for touch, and he'll find it too. A great kick. Almost. Well, it almost went to the corner flag. It's in by about 4 centimetres. A great kick from Lewis. Jack Gibson.
Well, that's about as close as you can get. But whether they're going to win the feed or not is a different matter.
Wally Lewis, Jack, has played in 25 tests, 17 as captain, 3rd test series as captain, versus England, yet to taste defeat. So he's got a marvellous record. Wally Lewis. But Great Britain have the ball. Ellery Hanley now goes for a gallop. But sideways the Englishmen are running at the moment. They need to straighten up this attack. The Australian defence straight line. Ward hard and fast and a big shoulder charge there, but plenty of green and gold to meet him too. Camped inside their 22, the danger zone, as Beardmore now takes it out 3 or 4, just clearing that area. Some heavy defence coming in from Australia as Gregory flicks it back for Lachlan. Lachlan driving the ball down deep. Gary Jack beautifully positioned for Australia. Stevenson around him though, and they wrap him up pretty quickly. Midway between the half and the quarter, Australia's end of the ground. Backo gets plenty of attention from Great Britain, but he loses the ball, so it's working. Some bustling defence, and Backo loses for Australia. So Great Britain now with a chance. Gregory to Gregory. And this is better stuff now as they wind up. Oh, and there's some big defence there from Australia. Wally Fullett and Smith came in, and by gee whiz, that was a big hit. Ward saying that's off the elbow, not happy. That was Daly, the big hitter. By gee, that was some plenty of defence. Referee play calling them out now, having a few words to say to Phil Daly. Let's see it again. Up they came, Beardmore, and bang. Well, it was a bit high, Jack.
It was a blatant high shot. If Daly keeps doing that, it'll be like the Gong Show. He won't be around till the finish.
Making his test debut, went on the 86 Kangaroo Tour, but didn't play in any of the tests. Phil Daly from the Manly Club. Well, we expect the test matches to be tough, but at the same time, we expect the players to keep the tackles down, and there's another shot for gold now for Great Britain. So two scoring chances. This one probably more difficult than the last because of the angle. It's much the same position, but about 20 metres off centre. Bill Lachlan from St Helens lining it up, and by gee, we've seen some great kickers over the years, Mick.
Oh, they've always been able to produce a good goal kick of the English.
Again, he gets plenty of height, and this time gets the 2 points. So Great Britain move to the lead, leading Australia 2 points to 0. Good kick from Lachlan. Paul Lachlan from St Helens. Plenty of Great Britain support. Long way to go yet, fellas. Michael O'Connor drives off for Australia. Be taken by Ford. Ford running up to the 22, runs sideways, trying to link up with some support, but Ford has come right through now, being chased by the Australians. Can he link up? Oh, he's got nowhere to go. He ran himself to the touchline with nowhere to go. The support went back inside. Maybe a chance begging there. This is off here. Now, he winds up out of one. Great Britain stayed to run it pretty well. On the halfway line, they kick. Looking for the line. No one at home. Gary Jack sprinting back. He'll get the ball safely. But there's plenty of defence back there for Great Britain too, and they wrap him up 10 metres out. This is good play from Great Britain. Australia now pinned down 10 metres out. They need to get out of there quickly. Eddinghausen goes for a run. He's barreled down pretty hard. Back for Canescu. Looking for the runners, and up they come pretty hard too. With this defence from Great Britain committed this afternoon. 2 and 3 going in. Daly plays it back to Canescu. Out to Sterling. Referee, though, awards a penalty to Australia. Great Britain offside, and Hume was the offender. See it again. There they are lined up. And there's the man that was pinged in front of the referee. So Australia get a little chance to breathe, Jack.
Well, they were offside on that occasion. It was a great decision as far as Australia was concerned because they were doing it tough.
Well, some high stuff then on Backo. He was pretty lucky to get underneath that. Like Gregory being called out. Backo really on the boil and steamed through onto the ball, indicating a tackle too high. Here it is again. Here's Backo. In we go. And underneath, a big one from Mike Gregory.
Well, I thought there was a tough penalty on Mike Gregory. He didn't go along with the shot.
Sam Backo, of course, making his test debut, man of the match in the second State of Origin series. Had a wonderful season here in Australia. Plays for the Canberra club. And up he goes. So this time it's Daly. 2 footballs on the ground. Plenty of defence coming in. And here come the runners for Australia. As Bobby Linder goes forward, they wrestle him down. Beardmore, Gregory. Or is it Ward and Gregory? Ward it is. Tedescu out for Sterling. Sterling this time swapped by Great Britain. Tedescu looking for the runners in Fullerton Smith. They get it on to Lewis. Lewis showing the ball, but again the red, white and blue of Great Britain putting him down, but deep inside the 22 Australia with a chance. Ball goes loose. Comes back for Bob Linder. Wasn't expecting it that time. In they go. Hanley keen to defend now, and there's the chip from Jackson. A follow through from O'Connor, taken from a fire, covers up too. They call him a fire because it rhymes with chariots. His real name is Ophir. He doesn't care what you call him. We'll probably give him the name his mum and dad did, Ophir. Back for Beardmore. Beardmore running out of trouble. Borton wraps him up. They're only 9 metres out from the line. Gregory. Tough little customer, this man. Beardmore. Back for the clearing kick. Just in time too as the Australian defence come through. Gary Jack beautifully positioned again. Runs the ball up for Australia. The defence beats him. We're starting to play football now, Mick Cronin.
The game is starting to settle down a bit, but I think Great Britain will be very happy with their performance at the moment. They've shown they've come here to play and win, and they're leading by 2-0. And the times they've had to defend, they've done that.
Lewis showing the ball, turning it back inside for Bacco. Tried to put one out and couldn't take it. Falls on the ball, that'll force the scrum. And there's the position of the scrum, just inside the 22, Great Britain's end of the ground. Scrum walking away again as they tussle on to see who's going to feed. Andy Gregory says, I will do it. Gets it on to Lachlan. Lachlan, big striding tall fellow. Boy, geez, a big fullback. Paul Lachlan from St Helens. This is Stevenson from the Leeds club. His partner Gary Schofield also from Leeds. Paul Dixon now playing it back. Out for the clearing kick. And Gary Jackson, plenty of work to do already this afternoon. And that one finds touch. That's a great kick. By gee, that was a good kick from Andy Gregory. Found the line about 10 metres out from the Australian line. See it again. There it goes. Got plenty of distance. And Gary Jack, well, you can see where he was. He had to really cover a lot of ground to try and cut it off. The kick too good. So this scrum the pack. 16 metres out from the Australian line. So, well, both sides are getting a chance in the 22. Bringing it back over again, though. He's having a lot of trouble, Jack, setting the scrums on the mark.
Well, he is a little, I suppose. He's not getting any help from both teams. They're both trying to take the initiative on each other. And this is Blake. There's a tough penalty on Australia, but I'm sure England will take full advantage of it.
Well, certainly getting a run of penalties here. They had 2 shots for goal already. Well, Ray French, you'd have to be very happy with this start.
I'm very happy. Everything going according to plan. It's rather strange that for the first time in 10 years, it's the Australians who are rattled, and it's the good tackling of the British that's really knocking these Australians back.
Yes, I'd agree with that. They're tackling very well. Okay, Great Britain in possession now. They're about 7 metres out as they take it up. This is Ward. Ward with a bustling run. Played for Manly last year. Many say the difference in the grand final performance. He was Great Britain's man of the series in 1986. So a tough player. Comes out to Gregory. What can they do? Looking for the runners. There's plenty of them as little Hume bustles around. No, that's Schofield. Schofield plays it back for Gregory. They get it on to Hume this time, though. Back for Gregory. Ball goes loose. He comes back at the Australians and gets it back to where they started from. The hair fashion is short back and sides in England at the moment. It's very confusing from the height we're calling it, I'll tell you. The ball this time touched. Peter Sterling comes up with it from Australia. And the referee says, no, sir. Bring it back. Well, we're going to have plenty of scrums, Mick.
Looks like it the way it's going, but with a referee that no one's used to. That's always bound to happen.
It's the bicentennial rugby league test. Australia versus Great Britain. The centennial test. Can't be a bicentennial test, but not that old. Okay, Great Britain flash out now. Here's a chance for Great Britain if they can unload, and they couldn't. The defence was there. Off you now, dummy half. What will he do? Oh, fumbles the ball. That's what he does. And they clear it out, Australia. Everybody's on now with a chase. Down comes Eddinghausen, who'll get there first. Great Britain get there first, and Eddinghausen takes him. So, Australia turning the attack, or from defence to attack, and driving Great Britain deep. But they're running through tackles, Great Britain. They're making some good inroads. This is Ford dancing around through the green and gold. Playing well at the moment. Back to Offia. Offia now goes sideways. He's got to start to run straight. He's certainly got some pace, but see, he's lost 4 or 5 metres, Mick.
Well, he's probably lost about 10, yes. You've got to straighten up at some stage or other.
Yes, sir. We like his style, the way he can palm off and step out of a tackle, but he certainly needs to run a lot straighter. Gregory now. Gregory, clever little player, gets boxed up though, nowhere to go. Gives it back to Offia, and he kicks out on the full. So he's not having a happy game, Jack.
No, he ran 50 yards and lost 10, so there wasn't much mileage in that.
Well, this scrum will pack midway between the half, the 22, Great Britain's end of the ground, Australia with a feed. Remind you of the score, Great Britain 2, Australia 0. Now here's Gary Jack up into the back line now, so Australia's starting to look like they want to attack. O'Connor with a nice little short ball back for Fullerton Smith. It comes back to Konescu. Oh, and Daly puts it down, so they're squandering possession now, and Great Britain in possession. Is it through Dixon? Yes, it is. Paul Dixon from the Halifax club. Back for Gregory. This is Ellery Hanley, captain of the side, and again he's running backwards. Well, he comes to this country with a big reputation.
Yes, well, he's got a reputation for scoring tries over in England, but they'll have to start running straight to score them over here.
Captain Great Britain in the last 6 tests has played centre wing 5/8 lock for Great Britain, so a very versatile player is Ellery Hanley, their captain this afternoon. From the Wigan club, of course, one of the great names of rugby league in the world. Like this from the pack. Great Britain ball again. And Australia makes some inroads. They're dancing around this attack. Oh, some high stuff from Gary Jack too. Gregory a dummy half looking for the runners as Ward steams through over the halfway line, having a big game. Ward, we're told his form hasn't been that good in Great Britain. He loses the ball, but the referee will give them another penalty. As Sterling fumbled the ball out of the way there. They've said that Ward's form hasn't been good in Great Britain, but by gee, looks solid today.
Well, yes, he's just carrying on from where he left off last year with Manly. He's been very impressive out here today, making yards every time he's taken the ball up.
There's been some talk that Ward may come back and play for the Manly club. Here it is again. Well, Jack, your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm trying to pick it up on video. I couldn't pick it in the game. He may have tugged away, may have leaked. May have just lost it cold.
Gary Jack then just putting his foot into touch as he took that ball. Was just on the line. So again, Australia are under a bit of pressure. They've been camped at their 22 so far in this test match.
See what's happening now, the line umpire's trying to explain something to the referee and they can't come together on agreement. He's decided on a scrum.
So your thoughts are that we should have an English-speaking referee?
Well, we've got to have some communication there. At the moment we haven't got any, and that's going to last for the full extent of the game.
This is Hume, again went backwards, then straightened up. But that's the 22 line you can see. Ellery Hanley now pushes the referee out of the way. He gets wrapped up pretty quickly. Plenty of defence. Back over the main tackler. Beardmore now. Comes out for Gregory. He's got Hume there, but he cuts Hume out, gets onto Offia. Offia again on one of these gallops across the field. He's getting out of plenty of tackles, but Ward saying, run it forward, go forward. Beardmore at dummy half. Gets it onto Ward. Ward with another good run. Backo over the top. The two big men meet. Beardmore On to Dixon. Dixon, another little bustler, and they're only 8 metres out. So Great Britain with a chance on the 5th tackle. Will they kick? Will they run it? It goes to Gregory. There's the little chip. Gary Jack comes back and handballs it over the dead ball line for Australia. So plenty of pressure coming from Great Britain. Gary Jack, of course, with the Balmain club, is a familiar face in Great Britain. Has played some football there and has been in great form this season. Wally Lewis now drives the ball out from Australia from underneath the post. Taken by Ellery Hanley, shows the ball, winds up, Vorton chases him, he beats Vorton and Canescu, doesn't beat Fullerton Smith but does unload. Beardmore quickly into dummy half. Gregory calling for the ball. Out it comes to Mike Gregory. Fullerton Smith, his opposite number, takes him. Out for Beardmore, then on to Gregory, then on to Hume. Short pass up for Dixon. Dixon with a clever ball out for Hume again. Hume dancing around, Sterling there. Also Michael O'Connor. And once again, we have the P blowing in the referee's whistle. And we have a touch judge in. Well, Ray French, it's stop-start football at the moment.
It's stop-start football, but it's stop-start football for Australia. Great Britain are playing all the rugby. Andy Gregory's moving the ball very, very well in midfield. And I think one of the problems for Australia is that this French referee, he has the teams virtually 10 metres back. And that really is hindering the big hits and the big tackles from Australia. The Great Britain pack is faster.
I tend to think there's a little smile in your voice, Ray.
There is a little smile, there's no doubt about it, because everyone's been rubbishing us all week, and it's very nice to be leading 2 points to nil.
Nice to be going home to your country too, live. Okay, Australia now find the line right on the halfway line, so we need to see some run football here as Daly takes it up for Australia, bounces out of one which was Ward's tackle, but look at the Great Britain defence comes in now, and Gregory comes in and says, put him down, and the referee will pull Gregory out now, and Gregory having a bit to say too. Well, after all, it is a test match.
Well, that's right. I think he was a little bit late and probably a little bit high, but it is showing they have got plenty of enthusiasm, Great Britain. It's making it a bit hard for Australia.
Gregory's certainly stiffened him up, hasn't he?
Well, he has. He's moving the ball, but as he said, he's got a few people out there looking to run the ball, which you do need if you're a halfback.
Back over for Australia, but again, Great Britain a wave back. Well, I mean, Jackie's a long way back, and we've just stopped starting this test every 30 or 40 seconds.
Well, maybe they're inside the 10, but he's certainly coming unpredictable. But in relationship to the two sides, certainly England have advanced the ball better than the Australian team. Great Britain, up to the moment, they're in front, and they deserve to be in front.
Comments from the master coach of rugby league here in Australia, and I guess well known in Great Britain too, Jack Gibson.
Those comments were from the master commentator, Darryl Eastwood.
He gets very embarrassed when I call him the master coach. Michael O'Connor now. 20 metres out on a pretty acute angle, only about 12 metres in from touch. His first attempt. He's a very good kicker of the ball though. Oh, look at that. Look at that, waved away though, so he doesn't miss too many. He's averaged 13 points a test, Michael O'Connor, and a marvellous achievement. 130 points in all in 10 tests. He scored 11 tries and kicked 43 goals. But that time, off the beam. Great Britain now will kick out with Lachlan. Gary Jack will take it. Scrambly ball. Jack picks it up cleanly. This defence from Great Britain really keen though as they come in and slam him down. Peter Sterling, dummy half, sending some signals out, looking for runners. Oh, but put down quickly. Loose ball. Eddinghausen for Australia, only makes 2 or 3. Canescu looking for Daly, but Daly had to overrun it that time. It comes on to Bobby Lindner. He loses the football. No, he still has possession as Canescu turns it back into Lewis. Lewis unloads to Eddinghausen, on to Sterling. Oh, big tackle from Ellery Hanley, a big tackle from Ellery Hanley. Put Sterling down flat on his back. Vorton out for Jackson. But this defence coming up and meeting Australia. This is good stuff. This is a 100th test match between the two countries. And Sterling kicks out now, taken by Offia. Let's see if he goes straight this time. He doesn't get a chance. Lachlan makes 4 or 5, trying to clear that 22, that danger zone. And they're about 20 metres out. Ellery Hanley again. Outside the 22. Australia holding on. Hanley saying, I'm trying to play it. Back it comes with a clearer. This time for Schofield. Gary Jack again takes the ball, but look at this line of defence coming through for Great Britain, Jack. Well, they're there all the time this time. Against Manly, they weren't coming up.
No, they've chased the kick well. And they're getting the due rewards for doing that. They're finding Australia well in their own half.
Another penalty this time to Australia for a rough up on the tackle, trying to take the ball. Jack, that's one of the things when you coach Parramatta that you wanted the players to chase all of the time.
Well, the action where the ball is. It's no good standing back there looking at it. If he's kicked it, you've got to chase, and the kickers is only as good as the other players are prepared to chase.
What about this Australian side with so many new faces, Jack? Is it going to take them some time to settle, you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to send an old face in there, and that's Wayne Pearce. How they've deleted him out of this team's a mystery.
Look at England. They're bustling Australia all the time. The passes are going wildly backwards, and they're losing ground as Vorton tries to bustle up, but there's just too much defence with Beardmore and Gregory. They're bustling Australia. The passes are going astray. Backo gets driven back, and they're losing ground with the ball, Mick.
Well, they are. They're showing plenty of enthusiasm in defence, England, but I think Australia, they haven't really got a creative player in the forwards. It's relying a lot on Peter Sterling and Wally Lewis to get in there and get the forwards going. But really, we need one creative player in the forwards.
Well, this time this is Jackson. He gets the ball out. This is better stuff from Australia now as Ettinghausen. He's got some pace. Toes the ball inside. Lachlan's chasing it back. He'll take it for Great Britain. Almost on his line. Beats one. Still going Lachlan. Big lanky fellow. Hard to pull down too. Lewis was the one that affected the tackle, but he's hurt in the tackle. Hanley having a bit to say about it too. Well, this is funny because in Australia, Wally Lewis is known to question referees and direct a bit of traffic. It looks like Ellery Hanley is going to do the same thing for Great Britain. So we've got a couple of yabbers out there today. Lewis and Hanley. Hanley went over and tapped the referee and said, thank you, sir. That's quite a character. Much of an angle to work from then. Great Britain find the line now. In earlier matches, the under-7 Bicentennial Championships, the final, New South Wales 18 defeated Queensland 16. In the prelim final, Northern Territory 34 defeated South Australia 8. Isn't that a great idea to see all of the states playing rugby league here in Australia? Back to the test match. Great Britain, they're in possession. Gregory goes the blind side, wrapped up by Lewis though. Assistance from Backo. Beardmore. Again they kick Great Britain. This time they'll find the line again too, so they're turning Australia round, turning Australia back. That time it was Schofield.
Well, they're just controlling the ball. Ward's making plenty of yards through the rucks, and then on the 4th or 5th tackle they're just kicking and the ball's going out.
Gary Schofield scored 5 of the 6 tries Great Britain scored in the 86 Test Series against Australia. Very good player. Known well here in Australia for his efforts with Balmain. Classy player. Again, they're off the mark, this scrum. Well, he is having an awful amount of trouble just getting them to pack, and this time it spins around again. Backo's not even in. Great Britain with a feed. Turning around again. Sterling with a football, I should say. Australia's feed. Australia's ball. Gary Jack turns it back for Ettinghausen. Oh, some high stuff there too. Very high stuff there.
Well, it was a high tackle and the referee's caught him.
Watch this as Platt comes in, bang, just throws the arm out. And that penalty now will go to Australia. There it is once again for you. Andy Platt from St Helens played so well against Manly the other night in a side that was defeated. 5 times a substitute in test teams. The first was against France at Leeds in March of 1985. Well, there's plenty of instructions being given to the referee by the Great Britain side out here. Every time the whistle goes, everybody comes in for a chat. Wally Lewis will kick out for Australia from the halfway line and will take play just to the 22, a fraction short of it. Okay, Australia with a chance. Lewis, very deep Australia. Sterling gets it onto O'Connor. Out to Jackson. Jackson starts to move inside the 22. Still going, Jackson. Loses the ball though. And Great Britain will come up with it. Jackson, one of the new caps here for Australia. Hanley with a cramp or a knee problem. Let's hope it's a cramp. Let's hope it's not a bad problem, but he's having a lot of trouble playing the ball. Well, he can't play the ball. Well, this will be a disaster if he's got to go off. He's in a lot of pain. Twisted it as he's gone in for the ball. The captain of Great Britain down at the moment. It looks like he's twisted a knee. We'll have a look at the incident here. Now here he goes in for it, and he's okay there. It looks like, well, hard to see where it's been twisted, Mick.
I think he seems all right. This one has been just playing for a bit of time.
Might have been just a cramp too. This is Ford. The score, I remind you, Great Britain 2, leading Australia 0. Another penalty this time to Great Britain. Well, penalty count starting to mount. 7-2. 17 penalties have been awarded. I should have said 17 penalties. A lot of penalties in the game so far. The breakdown is Australia have received 10, Great Britain 7. I thought it would have been the other way, actually. So that's interesting. 17 penalties already in this match. Great Britain in possession. As Ward is wrestled down, short of the halfway line. Beardmore dummy half. Up it comes for Gregory. That's Mike Gregory, a Warrington player. Played a stint here under Jack Gibson with Cronulla. And again the whistle is blown. Well, I wish he'd let it play some football, Jack.
Well, he is contributing a little bit, but not so, the players more so. But what I feel, by the time they get around to the next test, the coaches are going to spend a little bit more time in tap practice and coming up with some plays from that, because of a lot of penalties.
Well, the Australians are getting frustrated, but I guess the only way they're going to stop that is to get back deep enough. I mean, if they know that he's going to wave them back, Mick, well, they've got to stand a bit deeper, maybe.
Well, they are getting frustrated, but I think we've got to give credit to the Great Britain defence there. I thought that it would be England who'd be coming up with the drop balls, but at the moment it's Australia. It's mainly due to the great defence of Great Britain.
Paul Lachlan, 1 from 2. And none of them have been very easy. This one's a fair way out again, about 46 metres, and it'll be 20 metres off centre. Pretty difficult angle. He's been getting the distance and the height, and again, this is looking a little bit off though, waved away. He's just, there's no breeze to speak of, but he's just hooking them away a little. Malcolm Reilly, Great Britain coach, will be pretty happy with this going in at this stage of the match, leading 2-0. Wally Lewis taking a fair bit of time for Australia. Takes the kick from the 22. Stevenson takes it for Great Britain. Australia take him just short of the halfway line. Beardmore dummy half. The runners come through. This is Dixon. Dixon under a high one from Bacco. Beardmore out to Gregory. Gregory dancing around on the spot. Still making territory though. He's a cheeky little player, this fellow. He makes ground and he likes to bustle on his way up too. They get it on to Ward. He goes forward another 4 or 5. Now he's driven back. Gets it out for Schofield. Out they come for Beardmore. Here's Gregory. Oh, and he's just touched by Gary Jack and brought down. Lucky for Australia that. But England running with plenty of purpose now. Out it comes for Hume. They get it on to Ellery Hanley. Heading for the corner. Hanley. He'll score. Oh, what there? Great Britain scored the first try. Great Britain in. Ellery Hanley just scooted for the corner and too big, too strong and too fast. Great Britain jubilant here this afternoon. Leading now 6 points to 0 with a kick to come. And really, you can go back to Andy Gregory there. He danced away. He had Australia at 6s or 7s, but it was Schofield that took the ball. Ellery Hanley through the dummy and split him, and then headed for the corner and just too much pace. Cross came Jack and Lindner, but they couldn't take him.
It's a case of one player faster than the other. He just beat him for speed. It was a great run.
Well, the Great Britain flags are flying high. Wally Lewis laying down the law here for Australia. Absolutely laying down the law. They're shell-shocked, the Australians, I'll tell you that now, as Lachlan lines up again. Dreadful angle he's got, just in from touch. Well, he's got plenty of height. And waved away again, so the score remains Great Britain 6, Australia 0. Malcolm, really, the Great Britain coach looking a little concerned. I don't know why. 6-0, he'd be delighted, be over the moon.
A well-known punter took 15.5 point start there. I guess he'd be laughing.
Only one in Sydney, I think.
I'll tell you what we have got. We've got Pete Sterling coming off the football paddock.
Yes, Jackie, hurt his arm. I saw him hurt his arm a little earlier, but we thought he might have just been working on it. But he looks pretty bad as he's being let off. The Beardmore, the busy hooker there, Sterling, and he's in a bit of pain. Well, that's bad news for Australia. We'll come back to their reshuffle lineup in a moment. Great Britain with the ball, and there it is, half-time. So Great Britain leading Australia 6 points to 0 in what can only be considered a shock. Sterling goes off, and that's a bigger shock for Australia. Michael O'Connor, the faces tell it all. Greg Kinescu, Ford coming off. Peter Jackson. Beardmore, been busy. So we'll take a break from the Sydney Football Stadium with the 100th Test match between Great Britain and Australia. Back shortly.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium for the centennial Test match between Australia and Great Britain. The 100th time the two sides have met. And believe it or not, a surprise scoreline for many. Great Britain leads Australia by 6 points to 0. A try to Ellery Hanley just before half-time, and a goal to Paul Lachlan, the fullback rather, giving us that scoreline, that very surprising scoreline. I'll check it with our senior commentator for the BBC who's touring with the Great Britain side, Ray French. Thank you for joining us, Ray, for this half-time look really at the first half. A real surprise for everybody.
Well, it might be a surprise for one or two Australians out here, but not a surprise for one or two of us in the camp. You know, everyone's been rubbish in this Great Britain side. But what people have forgotten is that this Test team has very rarely played to date in Australia. Mal Reilly's kept them back, and they've come out fighting.
Well, a lot of people were asking early in the week whether Malcolm really was foxing the footballing supporter in Australia, actually whether he'd give us a look at his top side, and being the smart Englishman that he is, he's waited for this particular Test match, the very first one.
Oh, he's waited for this particular Test match. One of his problems is we had a lot of people ripped out of the side, quite a lot of the Wigan elements and players ripped out of the side, and he's had to mould it aside completely. He's done that, and I think we're going in great shape.
Ray, is it fair to say that the referee has played his part in this first half of this Test match to, I don't know, to give it a different flavour, because he's played to keep both sides apart, and you would have thought that would have played into the hands of the Australians, but it's not looking that way.
Well, he's kept them well apart. I saw the game at Manly on Tuesday night, and he was keeping them 10 metres apart, not the statutory 5 metres apart. I wouldn't like to buy a carpet off this chap, quite honestly, because what he terms 5 metres is more like 10, 12 metres, and he keeps pulling them up for offsides, and I really do think that the players are struggling, but it's suiting Great Britain, because I think that the Great Britain pack is quicker and faster than the Australian pack.
The pack is playing much better. Ward asserting himself early.
Oh yes, Kevin Ward is asserting himself. Actually, he was in the sea this morning at 7 o'clock. Apparently he did this before the grand final out here for Manly, and he maintained the tradition and went for a bathe, and I think he's done him a world of good.
Phil Ford in the backs for the Great Britain side is surprising. That's the best form I've seen from him.
Yes, Phil Ford's doing very well, and surprisingly doing very well in midfield. He's picking the ball up out wide and bringing it in midfield, and Paul Lachlan's doing very well at full back. This lad, real tower of strength.
What can we expect from the Great Britain side second half?
I think you'll expect quite a lot of kicking. I know Mal really wants to play Australia in their half. He was a little bit afraid of the power of Sterling and Lewis, but that surprised me. Sterling and Lewis don't look the Sterling and Lewis of old, but of course another 40 minutes to go.
Do you think Sterling will come back?
Oh, I think Sterling and Lewis are two world-class players, but there doesn't seem to be that coordination between them as there is between Gregory and Hume. Gregory and Hume are moving that ball out wide.
Peter, of course, got injured just before half-time.
Well, possibly so, possibly so.
All right, what about this ground?
Well, it's a new ground, it's a beautiful ground, but I think that opening 40 minutes has certainly established the old traditions. It was a little strange for me not to be at the Sydney Cricket Ground, but after 100 tests, well, it's nice to launch this one, and let's hope we launch it with a Great Britain win.
Ray French, thank you very much. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium for the second half of this 100th Test match between Great Britain and Australia. Metres gain. Now this information, Jack, would be new to our viewers in Great Britain, but it's a very important one, isn't it? Australia 40 metres with every 6 tackles that they've held the ball for. Great Britain 45 metres.
Well, it's a fair percentage in Great Britain's favour, and it's a fair indication what's on the board, that they're 6 in front.
This is one that you favour, time in the opposition's half.
Yeah, time of possession.
Australia 13 minutes and 40 metres there they've gained. Great Britain 45 metres and 16 minutes. So that difference really does indicate with the score.
Well, it indicates what's on the scoreboard. Great Britain are in front.
And time in possession, 58% against 42%.
Well, that's greatly in favour of Great Britain. That's a big margin.
Peter Sterling, who went off injured just prior to the half-break time. Now, this is it here. He dived to get Hanley and went down on his shoulder, his left shoulder. And as Hanley, of course, went over to score. So he's back on the field. Let's hope he's okay. Ready to start the second half. Referee Francis de Play now signals time on. And it's Lindner that brings it back for Australia. And Australia with plenty to do, with Great Britain leading 6 points to 0. Canescu getting it on to Bacco. Bacco looked to unload but decided to take the tackle. And look at Ward over the top. Every time that Bacco's got the ball, Ward has been there. Vaughton, a bit quiet in the first half but didn't get a lot of chances, I guess. The Englishman had the football and made good use of it. Daly, the big men staying to run for Australia. They've taken play midway between the half and the quarter. They're into the ground. Comes back to Lewis. He can't kick it, so he gives it to Sterling, and Sterling boots the ball. But Lachlan positioned well. Geez, a handy fullback, this fellow. He's so tall, but he's been in position all day.
Well, Sterling dropped that kick right into his mouth. He come up with it and picked up 10, 15 yards on the halfway.
Another busy player in forward. Again, they kick and find the line too. Went out on the full that time though. Gregory was the kicker. Drove the ball down, but it went out on the full. So the scrum will pack. Australia get the penalty, and there's a fair bit being said. I think the referee is pointing that I think it's Mike Gregory that's doing the talking, or is it Andy Gregory? Anyway, he's pointing to both of them. It's hard to say. Lewis has taken the touch finder, and it's near the 22. So can Australia get some points on the board? Let's see. Bacco will take it up. Bacco hard and fast. This crowd getting behind the big man now. Still going. That's a good run from Bacco. It's taken play deep in the 22. Australia, big crowd here, start to respond. Canescu, diving run. The penalty so far, Australia 11. 6 for tackle offences. Great Britain 8, 4 for tackle offences and 2 for scrums. Lewis out in front of the sticks. Not making any ground so far. Canescu out to Sterling. Sterling links up with Gary Jack. Gary Jack gets one high but gets it away anyway, and they come back, Australia running away. Michael O'Connor looked to pass and took the tackle. Dixon in there, Hume in there. Borton on to Jackson. Jackson into some heavy defence again. Great Britain keeping their line intact so far. Wally Fullerton-Smith is at dummy half. He gets it on to Lewis. Lewis with a little chip. He follows. Taken though pretty well by Ford. He's wrapped up and driven back. Much better defence from Australia now. They're showing a bit of purpose.
Well, there's one thing about this referee. He doesn't pay any attention to a 5-metre rule when it's inside the 25. It doesn't matter whether it's Great Britain or England. And when he's outside that, he becomes a cricket umpire. He's back 22 metres.
Board takes the drop out for Great Britain, so Australia back with possession. Gary Jack will take the ball. Beats one group. They come back and get him. Unloads to Sterling, though. He gets it on to Vorton. Vorton straightens up the attack. Taken by Gregory. Gregory. It's like a law firm. Bullitt and Smith. Now they're deep, Australia. Sterling. Lewis. Comes on to O'Connor. Can't link up with Jackson, though. Belted down O'Connor. Lindner. Heading for the 22, but short. Lewis on to Sterling. Gets it on to Backo. Backo on to Vorton. Vorton from behind is crunched down by Stevenson. Loose ball. Hanley has it for Great Britain. So once again, Australia squandering possession. Not holding the ball. Gregory makes it out to the 22 for Great Britain. This is centre pairing for Australia, Mick. Jackson and O'Connor don't seem to have too much understanding. They seem to be getting very close to each other.
I don't think they've had too many opportunities, but I think Australia's been dropping the ball on early tackles. And in the fours, you haven't been causing the Great Britain side too much trouble. So I don't think they seem to have had too many chances to shine at the moment.
You talk about drop balls. Australia have dropped 8, Great Britain 5. Daly in a wrestling match. Back it comes for the clearer. This time it finds the line, though, right on the 22. Schofield, the kicker.
Well, that's something we're going to be pretty used to. There's been a dozen scrums, and I think there've been 19 penalties. It takes a lot of football away from the game.
Referee pointing to the mark, holding them back. In they go. Australia's feet. Again, it's turning and twisting the scrum. Out for Lewis. Wrapped up by Gregory and Hume. Gregory again. Michael Gregory in for a bit of a hand. 13 set scrums. They've gone 6-5 Great Britain's way. So they're getting plenty of ball, plenty of possession. Canescu goes from a gallop from dummy half. Trying to link up with O'Connor. He does. O'Connor now. Oh, and trips. Stevenson comes in. Lewis can't take that ball. Too high. Gets on to Sterling. Comes back for Backo. Backo goes forward. Gets one out for, who is that? Lindner. And Australia moving forward now. Bullitt and Smith clapping for the ball. He gets it to Sterling. Out to Lewis. Lewis handballs one out for Jackson. Jackson gets it on to Gary Jack. They turn it back inside for Tony Curry. Curry gets it on to Sterling. Lewis. It's like basketball here. But Australia going forward. Great Britain's defence is holding. Good football. Turnover this time. Beardmore gets it on to Gregory. Gregory out of one, but slam bang. Thank you, ma'am. Wally Bullitt and Smith takes him down. Gregory has a look too. He's a cheeky little fella. The referee didn't like the tackle, he says. So the penalty goes to Great Britain. In with an elbow. Bit of a rough up. That's what that penalty was for.
Well, he gave him a little extra.
Missed tack.
And he got his jury awards. It was little juvenile stuff there.
Missed tackles. Australia 16, Great Britain 6. Oh, and some strong running now from the Great Britain side as they take it up. Gregory looks for Ward. They swarm in on Ward and dump him just short of the halfway line. Back for Beardmore. On to Gregory. Hume turns it back inside for Hanley. He unloads. Gets it out to Dixon. Driven back Dixon, though. Good defence from Canescu and Vorton. Well, standing start this time. That's pretty hard stuff for Dixon. I mean, he wasn't expecting the ball then, but he made 3 or 4. Schofield again kicks. This time again out on the full load. Brought back. Too big. The score, Great Britain 6, leading Australia 0. They've won only one series since 1970, Great Britain. The last two Kangaroo tours in 84 and 86 by Australia, undefeated through England and France. So Australia with their record on the line here today. Curry fires one out for Lewis. There's a chance from Australia if they can link up. This is Jackson. Jackson running, swerving, can't link up though. This defence of Great Britain comes in and knocks him over again. Gregory and everything, he goes down on the ground. A little bit of Hollywood in that one. Jackson straightens it up, he's in front of the post. Three Great Britain players bring him down. Plenty of talking in the Australian side now. Out it comes for Gary Jack. He goes forward 4 or 5 and taken down. A chance now for Australia. Canescu. Out it comes to Sterling. There's the little grubber kick. He picks it up again and fires it out for Backo. Big Sam Backo. Oh, big slam and Sam goes in for the green and gold. Oh, some clever work there from Peter Sterling. He kicked it, flicked the ball out. Backo was standing deep. And there they are congratulating each other. Look at this. Watch Sterling. The little angle kick, he miskicked it. Quickly flicked it back. Look at Backo, steamed onto the ball. Gets to the line and slams it down for 4 for Australia.
Well, that's perseverance. Look at this. Sterling turns a mistake into a plus. He was smart enough to regather that ball. Backo had the momentum to get over that little wide line.
Great Britain a little shell shock with that one. They've been playing so well, and there it is. So we have a scoreline now that's locked up. 6 apiece. We'll take a break. Be back with this exciting test match in just a moment. Lachlan driving off for Great Britain, 6 apiece. Well, Australia took a long, long time to get some points on the board. And look at this for a bit of a juggling act, but he's put a footy to touch.
This could be expensive. We get an England feed and they're 10 metres out.
Bettinghausen playing for Australia. He's waited a while too. He's an exciting player. Jack, you've coached him. He'd have to come back with that, but we'll stay with this for a moment because Great Britain have the ball through Hanley and they're only 13 metres out. Hume gets it on to Gregory. Ward overran it though. Completely overran that. He's very unhappy about it. And Australia come away again with a chance now as O'Connor winds up. O'Connor slips one out to Bobby Lindner. He's brought down with a pretty high tackle, but the referee says that one's all right. Canescu looking for Vaughton, but it's Backo who takes it, the try scorer for Australia. And he's in big form now, Sam. Confidence brimming. Canescu has Daly trailing him. Daly slips a nice pass out for Pullett and Smith. But Hume is there. Over the top, loose ball. Beardmore also there. Canescu gets it on to Sterling. Sterling says, let's get down there into the ground. Following the kick to Sterling, running through as Lachlan takes it. A little knock on there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Knocked on in the end goal area.
Well, again, Sterling helped that mistake come along because the fullback looks up and we've got Sterling 5 yards off him. And just enough to make him probably fumble that football. The mere fact that Sterling chased that kick.
Plenty of pressure. Well, Ray French, how's that smile doing?
Well, Australia look a totally different side this second half. Peter Sterling, as you said, Darryl, went off with a bad shoulder. But he's slowly now beginning to control this game. He's moved the ball out wide. He's put the passes in. And that chip kick, well, that was absolute class.
That mistake there when Gregory put that ball up for Ward and he overran it, that was expensive.
That's right, very expensive. That could have been a try, actually. Kevin Ward had a gap there and he was going to go through it.
OK, Ray, down on the sidelines. We'll come back to you on this defence from Great Britain. Pretty rugged now. Curry had a bit of a wrestling match too, and this referee straight onto it.
Well, I think they're pulling out Scully, are they? Schofield?
Schofield's coming out.
Well, he's never had great ability to tackle low, so he's had a high shot and he's come up with a penalty against him. It's not going to help what Great Britain are trying to do.
Here it is again. Andy Gregory, well, he's always pretty aggressive. Let's see it from here. Well, just out of shot. Australia will take the kick. Now the penalties now Australia 12, 6 for tackle offences. Great Britain 9, 4 for tackle offences and 2 for scrum infringements. Michael O'Connor. Pretty acute angle. Marvellous kick of the ball, this fellow. Plays for the Manly club. 11 tests, 11 tries, 43 goals. Scored 132 points. That time unsuccessful. Made his test debut against New Zealand at the Sydney Cricket Ground in 1986. Wonderful rugby league player. Played 13 rugby union tests too from 1979 through to 82. Great Britain drive off through Lachlan again. Well, finds touch, and Bobby Lindner throwing his arms up, but I mean it's gone into touch, Jack.
Yeah, I thought that was a poor decision. I thought it hit the line. And if it hits the line, it's deemed out on the full.
Well, we'll see it here. Bang, you're right. There's the chalk dust gone up like a tennis shot.
It might be his last test match, this lineman.
Greg Canescu is calling for something there, indicating to the bench. Australia come up with the ball.
They shouldn't have, but they did.
Lindner will get it back to Fullerton Smith. Gregory and Dixon, the tacklers, comes back to Canescu at dummy half. He looks for Sterling. On the Backo, he's been busy in the second half, Backo. Scrum, 16 set Australia, 7 Great Britain, 7. Even money there. Canescu, Sterling. The little chip over the top. The chasers are coming. Ball still running. Eddinghausen chasing. No, sir. Bring it back. This forward showing a lot of pace today.
Well, he's pretty quick, but I just look at that penalty. I didn't think Eddinghausen was really offside on that play. How did it read on that?
It was a pretty tight decision.
He got a penalty against him.
Pretty tight decision. Penalties 12 to Australia, 10 to Great Britain at this stage, and I think there's been a couple of line ball ones there too. But I think they'll probably work out in the wash. Great Britain with the ball, and they're in Australia's half. The scores 6 apiece. Gregory, little slip as he went the blind side. Canescu has it. He doesn't like being tackled, Gregory, does he?
He resents too many things to be a good player, but he is a good player. But I think he'd be better if he just got on with the game instead of resenting.
Beardmore, Gregory again. There's a bit of rough and tumble stuff going in the background, and look at this little fellow. He's everywhere. He gets it onto Lachlan. Got a bit of trouble pulling Lachlan down. He's gone straight in there and beats 1 or 2. Beardmore straight into dummy half. Mick, do you think they should run it?
Oh, I think they should run it, yes. I think really, if you look, Australia has lifted their performance this half, but overall I think Great Britain has probably been the more constructive side.
Sloppy play there, but that man Gregory back on the ball.
Let's put a re-tackle count on here, so they've got 6 plays to go.
Forward, still going forward. Oh, he's elusive, isn't he? Steps off both feet. Beardmore, Gregory, big hole there. No one to pass to. He still runs around in circles and can't link up with anybody. Beardmore, Schofield, the little tap, he was brought down. Was yes, sir. The referee saw that too and says, well, award a penalty to Great Britain over that. And Schofield hurt himself when he went down then too.
Well, I got to watch the replay, probably like everybody else, to see what happened here.
Here it is. Another angle.
Well, whether it deserved the penalty, I couldn't say. He had to get out of the road, the defensive player, but still he got pinched for it.
Well, Daly just sort of threw himself down on the ground, but this gives Great Britain an excellent chance to hit the front again. This is not a difficult angle. Paul Lachlan has played pretty fair football here this afternoon. Haven't seen too much of him on the tour.
Darryl, I feel they're coming a little unglued at the seams here, Australia. England, a little bit of extra possession, certainly putting plenty of pressure on them.
Waved away. Well, Mick, that could be a pretty expensive miss, that one.
Well, it could be, but both kickers have missed a couple of goals, so that'll probably even out the long run too.
Ray French, is that normal to miss a kick in such a situation there?
Well, that goal, Darryl, could be absolutely vital because Loughlin's missed 4 out of 5 kicks. I appreciate they've not all been easy, but on a test match like this and as close as this, the goals have got to go over.
Yes, I agree. They have been tough ones, but gee, there's a lot of pressure on him as a kicker now, isn't there?
Oh, there's tremendous pressure on young Paul. He's not used to the full-back position, and he's having a wonderful game in the loose. But you need nerves of steel to kick here at this new stadium.
Well, I'll tell you that Michael O'Connor's record here is not all that good either. He's had trouble, so maybe even though we don't feel the wind here, it is up there high. No. Gary Jack now takes play almost to the halfway line, but the Great Britain defence comes in and meets him pretty well. Greg Canescu on to Fullerton Smith. He goes for a gallop, but sideways, an easy meet for Ellery Hanley. Sterling cuts out and gives it to Vaughton. But this defence of Great Britain wrapping him up pretty quickly. Gregory's done a lot of tackling today. Busy player. Lewis. Out of one, Lewis makes a little break. Gets it back to Vaughton. Jackson had run through and he'd gone, so Vaughton had no one to give it to. He gives it back to Lewis. And they're in Great Britain's half now. Sterling kicking. It'll go to Ford. O'Connor is there. Curry is there. O'Connor gets him. Ellery Hanley now from dummy half. Oh, and half a break too, Hanley. She's tough. He's strong. Very strong player, Ray.
He's a very strong player, he just needs half a gap. But in all honesty there, Darryl, there should have been some support there, and there wasn't. I just fear that Great Britain could be tiring a little bit at this stage now with 20 minutes to go.
Gary Jack gets it onto O'Connor. O'Connor swerving. They wrap him up. They know the danger of this man. Very fast, very elusive, very clever. Curry gets it onto Bacco. Bacco makes the 22. Sterling, Jackson spinning around, and I said I agree with Ray, but I think it's happening to both sides. They seem to be running off short passes and getting in each other's way now as they flick a loose one out. Jackson wrapped up very quickly, still manages to go though into the 22 and they hold him there. Well, Australia have gone nowhere, and 3 tackles have gone nowhere. Out for Sterling. Sterling kicks, rebounds, taken by Canescu. He gets it back to Gary Jack. Gary Jack winds up, heads for the corner. Good defence though. Gregory. Curry. Curry shows the ball. Oh, brick wall stuff there. Bang, stop dead. Lewis handballs it back to Sterling. Comes back to Canescu. He mishandles. Goes behind him. Now he straightens up. Back where they started. Lewis like a traffic cop. Starts to direct home. He goes from there, Lewis. Oh, he's only a metre out. So, Australia, where are the big men? Gordon still going. Gordon unloads back to Bacco. Bacco had him for the line knee. Hit him, no one beat him. Oh, good stuff, both sides. Fullerton Smith gets it on to Sterling. Yes, Jackson's in. Oh, yes. Sterling with a beautiful pass to Jackson. They drew the English defence to the post and spun it out wide. Jackson's over for Australia with a great pass off Sterling. Peter Jackson from the Canberra club, his first test. Age 24, and watch this, he won't forget this day. Takes a pass off Sterling and bang, and in for Australia.
Well, Australia run a pretty fair shepherd on this play. But the expertise of Sterling was just sufficient enough to get it through to Jackson to get the job done. But he nearly could have blown the whistle then.
Well, Michael, I think too they sucked the British defence in near the post and then just spun it wide quickly.
Well, they did do that. I think Australia just to win this game, they've just got to start, I think, playing their forwards a bit tighter, just sucking into defence, but then start moving the ball wide.
And Michael O'Connor is successful with a kick, so Australia now surging ahead, 12 points to 6. Lachlan now driving it off. Can Great Britain come back? First of all, they need the ball. Eddinghausen makes good territory, but they drag him back another 5. Well, that's that defence Jack's talking about. They're back to the 22 after that. Gary Jack wrapped up again. Bulletin Smith just takes the tackle and loses the ball. The knock on, so will force the scrum.
Well, the way they're playing Great Britain, they can certainly come back from here. We're only 6 behind.
Running out of time, though, that clock counting down, so Great Britain need to take advantage of the ball as Schofield toes it forward. Eddinghausen falls on it. Now they need to keep Australia pinned down here. Morton wrapped up by Stevenson, who comes back to get him. That's Platt in there. Beardmore's also in there. Canescu, Daly. Sterling just loitering around in the background. Backo takes one and the ball. Canescu, Lewis, he'll do the kicking. Ford takes it, but it's all right, it's gone back. Now, this fellow's been pretty impressive. He's got a great step, but he needed a greater one there to beat the defence. Lachlan almost breaks that first tackle each time with those big, long, lanky legs. He's a striding runner. Platt. Beardmore dummy half. The score, 12-6 Australia's way. Long flatter out. Here's a chance now for Schofield as he winds up. Schofield flicks one inside. Taken by Hume. Hume's got support. 6 to go, the referee says. So England now, Great Britain with a chance inside the 22. Australia getting back. They need to do something quickly. This man goes forward in Beardmore. They're about 13 metres out. Good chance for Great Britain. Australia. Defence lined up hard. Back from a fire. Diving around. Stood up though in the tackle. Gregory. Onto Ward. Oh, forward pass. By a mile.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't blow the whistle. There's been a few earlier, but it was forward.
Oh yeah, long way forward. It was a shame too because the gap was there, but it was a mile forward. Look at Gary Jack. He's saying, what about that?
You must know a little French, that
Ellery Hanley.
Yeah, I think so, because it wasn't tough for the referee to interpret what he said.
Lewis kicks for touch. Well, Ray, that was a very important miss there for Great Britain. They had the territory and they had the momentum going.
It was a very important miss, Darrell. It was a good decision, I think, by the referee, but it was a very important piece of indiscipline by the Great Britain side there. They should have taken the scrum, and then Great Britain were on the attack. But I still believe this Great Britain side can come back.
Well, you would have had trouble seeing how much that pass was forward. We're up very high, of course, but it was a mile forward. But here's Morton. Morton now bustling and knocking over the Great Britain players. He goes forward. That's a great run from Morton. Out for Lewis. Lewis shows the ball, runs Lewis. Still going Lewis. He's a very strong player. Gets it out for Sterling. Ball loose. Picked up by Eddinghausen. Back he comes. Grits the teeth. Goes forward by 4 or 5 almost to the 22. Canescu. Australia not done with yet. They're coming back all of the time with Backo again. He's been hard to handle this afternoon, Backo. Lewis, shot for goal. Yes, sir, he's got it too. Cool as you like. Cool as you like. 13-6 now, Australia lead. Well, Mick Cronin, that's a pretty handy one.
Well, it gives them a cushion there, puts them 7 in front. So it means Great Britain got to score more than once now to win the game.
Well, Wally Lewis, 28 years of age, and with the Brisbane Bronco Club, got a touch judge in. I'll come back to that in a moment. He's played 25 tests, two as a replacement, has scored 7 tries, made his debut. Well, he sent Borton to the sideline here with what's happened. Borton is going off. A replacement coming on. That's okay. We had a touch judge on, and I was going through some information there. We've got Roy Powell on, and we've got Stephen Folkes on. Gregory is going off for Great Britain. Borton has gone off for Australia. Gregory going off for Great Britain, and Powell in number 15, the player from Leeds, is on, and Stephen Folkes, the Canterbury player, on for Australia. Eddinghausen, taken by Gregory. Lovely tackle, beautiful tackle, right around the ankles. She's a good player. I like him. He's of the Tommy Raudonikis mould.
He's a great player. He's had a pretty smart game too.
Dixon with a bit of push and shove, gets it on now to Fullerton Smith. Lights are on here in Sydney. It's got pretty dark pretty quickly here. Stephen Folkes with the ball. Back for Konescu. On for Lewis. Drives the ball down. And taken by Offia. Offia with a good run there too. Puts the ball up, but his hands are a big worry. And bundled into touch.
Well, I don't think you get congratulated on that. They've been without the ball England for a little while, and he's come up on a first play.
He seems to panic a bit, Jack, to me.
Well, I don't know about panic. It certainly wasn't a play that they were looking forward to. Great Britain, that is.
Well, under 10 minutes now, 9:23 on the clock. So if Great Britain are going to come back, they really need to do it pretty quickly.
They need a quick fix, and they want it in a hurry.
Having a lot of trouble with scrums this afternoon. He's had some trouble just getting them packed down, and straight away a penalty comes out of that. And it goes to Great Britain. So they have their chance, Jack.
The other thing here too is about must Australia continually in the scrums. They've got to push on them and really work them over the paddock. And they've come up with 3 or 4 scrum penalties as well.
Well, if Great Britain are going to do it, they need to do it right now. Beardmore. On to Gregory. On to Powell, a new player in 15. He's taken by Folkes, Australia's new player. Beardmore. Gregory switches the point of attack. Goes out to Hume. And it's on to Ellery Hanley. Hume, the dummy half. Looking for the runners. It's Dixon that takes it up this time, and they're about 8 metres out. They need to get creative. Dixon. Gregory comes on to Schofield. He puts it down. Well, they can't afford that. He'd be unhappy about that, Ray French.
Well, it was a bad knock on there by Gary Schofield, but I think Great Britain are playing some frantic rugby, Darrell, frenetic rugby. They've got to do with 7 or 8 minutes to go, but what a performance. Everyone wrote off this Great Britain side here in Sydney, and these lads have shown there's still some pride in this British Lion.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Coming back to that player off here, I know he's a great character and he scored 44 tries in your season, but he seems to panic. But I'll stay here with Eddinghausen for the moment as he makes another bustling run up the touchline. Gets it back for Sterling. Australia on the attack. Sterling gets one onto Lewis. Lewis looking for support. A long looping pass out for Curry. Curry gets a pedal down to the floor now and had a corner there and couldn't get it out. Oh, Australia going. The green and gold's in top gear. Lindner heading for the line of fires, but yes, sir, Australia have gone in again through Peter Jackson. Try number 2. Well, the momentum was going. It all started with Eddinghausen way over the other side, and they just drove the ball forward. Australian coach would be delighted with that. That was really unexpected. Peter Jackson delighted there. Look at this. Wally Lewis, he gets it on to Lindner. Lindner splits him. Fires one out for Jackson, and Jackson just too strong from there.
Well, this try started a long, long way from home. The build-up was on the previous play, where they picked up 60 or 70 yards. But that was just the finishing effort after that man played the ball. It was certainly a great play. That was football. They can play no better than that. And they had to play that well to score.
Well, the score now, 17-6. Kick to come. O'Connor shouldn't miss this one. Ball off the mound. Ray Fritsch, I was going to say to you, Offia, that player who scored 44 tries in a domestic season, he seems to be very panicky when he gets the ball here.
Well, he's very nervous, I think. He's never played in an atmosphere like this. I don't think anyone expected this boy, only coming in a rugby league 12 months ago, to be playing in a first test here at the Sydney Football Stadium. I think he's done well enough to get here. There's a lot to learn, Darren.
Okay, thanks, Ray. Well, O'Connor has missed that kick, and his record here is, well, nowhere near the way he kicks anywhere else in Australia. Peter Sterling going off, and Gary Belcher has come on for Australia. Peter Sterling, a great test. So we'll take a break and back shortly. Well, Great Britain now 17-6. It's been a great performance from them this afternoon. They were written off by anything up to 30 points here by the Australian press. And it's only the last few minutes of this game has slipped away from them. They stuck to their guns for most of this test, and it'll be interesting now the next two encounters. Gary Jack. This is Gary Belcher. Very good player for our viewers in Great Britain. Plays for the Canberra club. And he and Gary Jack have duelled for the number one jumper here, the green and gold jumper, all season. Belcher. Lewis, Belcher. Goes the ball but takes the tackle. O'Connor dummy half. Lewis, rebound. Came off Dixon. A little bit of push and shove in the back play. Dixon and Backo. I'd say Dixon want to back off there. Backo's a bit big, but Gary Jack wants to play football. And look at this, Lindner gets it out to Eddinghausen. Eddinghausen puts on the pace now. They take him over the touchline, though. Too much defence. They herded him to that touchline and ran him over.
It might be a bit tough on that Martin off here, but I think that's the first time he's been effective in defence. He can run the ball all right, but he's short on stopping the run.
Yeah, I agree with that. He rounded him up then. Eddinghausen's had a fine first test.
He's advanced. He's been pretty good.
The scrum packed midway between the quarter, the halfway line, Great Britain's end of the ground. Lachlan. Back for Hume. Lachlan hurt. Wally down as well. Wally Lewis for Australia. This is Powell. Some rugged defence there. Bullitt and Smith. Lewis still down. So is Lachlan. Gregory. Fires one out quickly for Schofield. Now here's Ford. Puts the ball in the air. And there's a bit going on over the touchline here between Lindner and Ford. Touch judge is there on the spot. No action's taken. Penalties Australia 13, Great Britain 12, so it's been pretty even. Wally Lewis holding that arm. That could be the shoulder that kept him out of the first State of Origin match. I'd say it is. Let's see how it happened. Bang. Well, it was just the big hit. You can see the pain there on Wally's face. Well, it kept him out of the first State of Origin match. So let's hope that it's not too bad. Lachlan is up. Limping. Henderson Gill ready to come out for Great Britain in number 14. Powerful looking fella, this boy. So Lachlan is going off. Wally's decided to stay in. and 2:38 on the clock. The referee is talking to Tony Curry, who is now playing half. Taken over, feeding the scrums for Sterling. Pretty versatile player, Curry. Can play just about anywhere.
Well, I don't think we're going to find out whether they can play halfback. But they should be able to form a scrum. They've had enough practice. I think they've put their heads together around 20 times.
All set. Well, he's having a terrible time with these scrums. For goodness sake, just put it down, feed the ball, and let's go on with the football.
Well, it's easy to get out of. You give a penalty.
He's done that. To Great Britain. Gregory's found the line. And Great Britain have 1:40 to put some points on the board. Ward turns it back inside. The runners are coming through now. Dixon. Henderson Gill runs into dummy half, but he's quickly shoved away. Beardmore says that's my spot. Gets it out for Powell. Powell wrapped up. He's a pretty big man, this Powell too.
I like that Powell. I really played well at Manly the other night. I'll be surprised if he doesn't make the next test.
Gregory out to Hume. Hume comes back. On to Platt. He's taken by Canescu. Beardmore dummy half. They'd like to score a try if they could. Here's Ward. Goes past Platt. Comes out to Dixon. Dixon taken on the 22. They really haven't gone anywhere. Henderson Gill might go from a gallop from dummy half. Now he decides to pass it out to Gregory. Out to Hanley. On to Stevenson. On to Ford. He puts one out the back door for Stevenson, but they're going backwards. That's the 22 line. They've gone nowhere. Now they wind up and take play actually 10 metres short of the 22. So they lost about 30 metres in all of that. Gregory stabs the ball. It goes to Belcher. And we're in the last 30 seconds of this test now.
Well, I got to compliment Great Britain. Their enthusiasm hasn't waned. They've really gone for it.
Bulletin Smith. Here's the countdown now. 6, 5, 4. The crowd do it for us. And Australia have defeated Great Britain here at the Sydney Football Stadium. The first test played here, 17 points to 6. What was a game of stop-start football, but it was pretty entertaining. And Great Britain have showed some potential for the next two matches ahead. Players congratulating themselves now. Ray French, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I've got Ellery Hanley with me here, Darren. Ellery, although in defeat, you must be pleased with that performance. Tremendous effort.
Yeah, it was quite a first-class display, but I'm still not happy with our performance. We made too many basic errors. They had the footed ball longer than us. I'm disappointed. We've got a lot of things to work on, but I can assure you that we'll be giving the game back up at Lang Park.
A great defensive and tackling skill from your pack, Ellery, and everyone, in fact, wrote us off, didn't they?
Yeah, they wrote us off and everything, but you look at the papers tomorrow, he's 17-6 to them, and I know that our lads and everybody in GB, they won't be happy, and I'm still not satisfied.
George Denikin, you have Peter Jackson with you.
Peter Jackson, what a great debut. 2 tests, or first test, 2 tries.
Yeah, mate, in the first half I didn't think we controlled the ball too well, but we knew that in the second half we come out and control the ball, and we get the points. I was in the right place at the right time, and I was really pleased with my second half performance.
The referee made life hard in that first half because the Australians couldn't get some sort of momentum going, but changed in the second half.
No, yeah, he gave away a lot of penalties in that first half, and the game really didn't have any continuity until the second half.
When did you sense that Australia had it in their keeping?
Probably when Wally kicked that field goal. They had to score twice then to beat us, and there was only about 10 minutes left on the clock, and and there's no way an Australian side was going to let him in again.
Thanks very much. Ray French.
Thanks, George.
Well, Don, that was some test match.
That was a test match, it certainly was, and we were flat out at half-time. We were worried because they were tackling so well and their kicking game was spot on, and it put us under a lot of pressure. But the Pillars come back in the second half, and we controlled the ball, and then we got away with a try. But, there was nothing in that game, I can assure you.
You had said all week, in fact, you were a lone voice who had said that this Great Britain side had some skill.
I knew that. I knew what, when I was in England over there, for the last tour, I saw these players and I knew what they could do. And anyone, as I said, took them lightly, were going to have mud on their face. And I'm glad they proved me right, because they're a very, very good football side.
So we can all look forward to a second match at Lang Park now.
Oh, it is a top match for Lang Park. And for these two teams to get together again, it won't be any different. It'll be a struggle all the way.
Thank you very much, Don.
Sam Bacco now.
Sam Bacco, how hard were the exchanges in that first half?
Oh, they were fairly hard, mate. They come out pretty hard, pretty strong. We were unlucky not to score a couple of tries. We made mistakes. We made too many mistakes in our red zone, so we made it hard for ourselves as well.
Is that what Don Ferner told you at half-time?
Yeah, we need to go a couple of mistakes out and get back up there, forward to go forward.
You're making a habit of scoring tries in important matches.
Oh, mate, I love it.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
Sam Bacco pretty happy here, and so is this crowd. They've seen a pretty entertaining game of football. But perhaps a little stop-start by the French referee, but certainly we have a test match coming up for you at Lang Park in round 2 of this one. Okay, we'll take a break, back in a moment with the man of the match for you.